We're 15 games into this championship campaign, and with about a third of the season already gone, I think it's a pretty good time, considering it's an international break as well, to have a look back at the season so far and what that could potentially mean for the rest of the season from a Bristol City perspective, of course, and have a look at maybe what significant things Bristol City could achieve this campaign. And I'm really talking about, can Bristol City break into the top 6 this time around? It's a big question to answer in about 10 to 15 minute YouTube video, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and let me know how you're feeling, if you're a Bristol City fan, in terms of whether or not this could be the season Bristol City finally crack the code and get into the top 6. So as it pertains to the league table, this is the state of play during the November international break. Bristol City currently sit 10th in the league table at the moment, with Blackburn, Millwall and Middlesbrough directly above them, and them being the only 3 teams between them and the top 6 at the moment. Watford and West Brom occupy 6th and 5th, both on 25 points, with Burnley being 2 points ahead of West Brom and sitting in 4th place. And then after that, it's Leeds, Sheffield United and Sunderland who are all kind of jostling it out for the top 2 positions. So Bristol City at the moment currently sit 3 points outside the top 6. As a virtue of the league table, Bristol City are not in the top 6 at the moment, ergo we're not the top 6 team as of right now. However, I've tried to go and find some underlying data, trends, any sort of things that could suggest that there may be an improvement coming from a Bristol City perspective, and that maybe we could leapfrog a couple of teams and push ourselves closer and break into the top 6. That ultimately is what Bristol City will need to do, and ultimately I can't predict the future. I don't have any sort of data from the future, and these sorts of underlying metrics are the best way of going about predicting kind of teams' improvements and performances going into the rest of the season. So that's what I've tried to find out, and that's what I'm going to be trying to present to you now. I'm going to try and split this segment up into a couple of different sections. I'm going to have a look at the attacking underlying data compared to the defensive underlying data separately, and then I'm going to try and come to a overarching conclusion that's hopefully fair and reflective and answers the question that was originally asked by me in the start of this video, which is, can Bristol get into the top 6? And obviously that will include a little bit of guessing and a little bit of predicting the future as well. So let's hop in and have a look at some of these attacking numbers then, shall we? Bristol City currently sits 7th in the XG table with an XG number of 19.4, and Bristol City have scored 20 goals so far in the championship this season, so it's a 3% difference, which again, fairly consistent, you know, kind of matching those numbers. And from an attacking perspective and from a goal scoring perspective, we're kind of up there and in around the top 6, mixing it in there. So it's not a bad place to be from an attacking perspective. Bristol City have also created the 7th most big chances in the league, with 31 big chances created, which is again above the likes of Blackburn, top 2 Sheffield United and Sunderland, as well as West Brom, who currently sit 5th at the moment. So Bristol City are certainly performing quite well from an attacking perspective compared to other teams in and around them. I think the main conundrum in a lot of ways from an attacking perspective at the moment for Bristol City is that Nahki Wells is consistently starting games, and Nahki Wells is starting games on merit. He scored 5 goals so far this season, and that's a pretty decent return considering he didn't start a lot of the games early on in the season. And it's good that he's in form, but you can look at this from a couple of different angles. Do you really want to be relying on a 34-year-old Nahki Wells for a 46 game championship campaign? No, you don't. On the other hand, there'll be a lot of squad rotation happening, so having Sinclair Armstrong and Fali Mayulu as options off the bench with the promise they've shown is very, very good and very good squad depth. And on the other hand, if Nahki Wells does eventually hit a bad patch or is out of form, or this purple patch that he's on is gone, well then you've got 2 options, as I mentioned, in Sinclair Armstrong and Fali Mayulu, if given the time and the right game time, can develop into really, really good championship players, and they've shown signs of that so far this season in the Bristol City shirt. Do different profiles, Mayulu and Armstrong, and obviously that would depend on what sort of game it is, but we've got options, I think, and that's the main thing from a Bristol City perspective. So it's good that Nahki Wells is starting games for us. And listen, if Nahki Wells is our number 9, is our starting number 9, is our preferred choice for the rest of the season, there's no real problem as long as he's consistently scoring goals for us. And we've seen teams in the past with kind of experienced championship strikers who know where the back of the net is and have been around for a few years. I'm thinking like so Danny Ward for Huddersfield had a fantastic season, didn't he? Helped them into the top 6. I can see no reason why Nahki Wells couldn't do the same thing for us. So let's have a look at some of these defensive metrics then from a Bristol City perspective. Straight away, this season, I'd say Bristol City have been a far better pressing side. We're more aggressive and tactically we are a lot better as well from a pressing perspective. We have got likes of Jason Knight and Sinclair Armstrong in there who are key pressing kind of triggers, and they help the overall structure out of possession for this Bristol City team. And we've actually won possession the second most number of times per 90 in the final third in the Championship, which is 4.7 on average per 90, which is really, really impressive, and that's only behind Leeds. And that is really certainly getting the best out of some of these players. As I mentioned, Knight, Sinclair Armstrong, key kind of players in this Bristol City team who have got that energy and that kind of dynamism about them to go and, really be key pressers for Bristol City. Joe Williams and Fally Mayulu are also in the top 9 for the most possession won in the final third per 90, which again just shows the aggression and the kind of willingness of this Bristol City team to get the ball back. And certainly that must also fall on Liam Manning as well to kind of give those instructions and then for them to be executed, reflecting in the data. 6th highest number of interceptions per match, 9.3 on average, and 7th most successful tackles per match, 10.8 on average, has been done largely with a bit of a hamstrung defence, especially in this latest run of games. No George Tanner, no Ross McCrory, Mark Sykes has had to fill in. He's gone out injured as well. McNally has been missing against Sheffield United. Rob Dickey's been injured and then suspended. Hayden Roberts, Cam Pring. There's a lot of players in there from a Bristol City perspective who would be considered, real options or real kind of players who would be in the starting 11 for Bristol City who have not been around yet. We've improved from the start of the season from a defensive perspective. Remember, conceded 6 in 2 games at Derby and at Blackburn either side of international break, and then we just looked really defensively vulnerable. We've gotten a lot better at being more stable, a lot more clean sheets. Norwich away, Middlesbrough away, and then Sheffield Wednesday at home, Leeds at home. We've got a lot better defensively, and that seemingly is reflective in what has become a far better side defensively with a hamstrung defence, which is just massive credit. And you just have to think, what could this Bristol City defence do with a fully fit defence with George Tanner, Ross McCrory, McNally, Fine, and Dickey? 3 really good options at centre back, and yeah, we've got real kind of room for improvement from a personnel perspective in that back line as well, and yet we're still putting up really good numbers defensively. And that gets me on to ultimately a really important final point, and that is that this Bristol City team does have a lot of squad depth throughout the squad, apart from maybe potentially goalkeeper, where the number 2 option is a little bit fragile. At right back, George Tanner and Ross McCrory, as I mentioned. 3 centre-backs in McNally, Viner and Dickey. At left-back, once Cam Pring and Hayden Roberts are fully fit, we've got 2 really good options there. In midfield, we've got Max Bird, Joe Williams, Jason Knight as our starting 3, and then Marcus McGuane could easily fit in, and he's been really impressive since, a bit of a rotating door in central midfield from Bristol City perspective. So it's just been really good from a fan's perspective to see that squad depth really shining through when we've needed them, and on the wings and attacking perspective, really good squad depth as well. Hirakawa, Mehmeti, Sam Bell when he's fully fit, Mark Sykes, Mayulu, Armstrong, Wells, as I've just mentioned. From an attacking perspective, Harry Cornick is there as well. So we've got really good options. Scott Twine, we've got really, really good options all over the pitch, and that I think you'll find quite hard to come in a lot of different championship teams this season, particularly in teams who I think will be in and around Bristol City in terms of final league position. So let's finally try and answer that initial question I posed at the start of this video. Can Bristol City get into the top 6? We currently sit 10th with 3 points off the playoffs. Our run of fixtures coming up is interesting to say the least. We've got 2 difficult fixtures after the international break directly in Burnley at Ashton Gate and then Watford at Vicarage Road, who are 2 very good teams and both currently sit in the top 6. That will be difficult. But then after that, up until Middlesbrough at Ashton Gate on the 21st of February, I would say that Bristol City have only really got West Brom at the Hawthorns and Sunderland at the Stadium of Light as two fixtures that I'd be looking at and going, Christ, that is difficult. Apart from that, and I don't want to sound disrespectful to any of the teams that will be playing in that run, but the likes of Pompey, QPR, and the bottom three, and Luton, who are really struggling at the moment. Derby, Plymouth. I know we got battered off Derby, but they're a little bit of a different beast away from home. But and then Sheffield Wednesday away, Blackburn at home. Yeah, it's interesting, and I'm going. Can Bristol be competitive in all of those games? Absolutely, we can. We could turn over a lot of those teams for sure. Will it be difficult for Bristol? Of course it will. Of course it will. We got the adequate quality throughout the squad to compete against some of the teams that are currently in the top six at the moment? Potentially not. Maybe if you look at a Blackburn or a Millwall or a Swansea directly below us, do we have better squads or equivalent squads to them? I'd say we do. I think we have maybe slightly ahead of them in terms of squad and in general. However, like some Middlesbrough, like some West Brom, Burnley, Leeds, I think that's fairly objectively. You can't say that Bristol City have better squads than them at this point in time. However, the door is slightly opening from a Bristol City perspective. There are teams below us in Coventry and Luton who I would have both expected to be kind of up there this season. Norwich, who showed real signs, who may be falling off just at that touch. That maybe there's maybe one playoff spot available up for grabs that Bristol City could have a chance of taking, but it'll be really difficult, and ultimately I think it'll be really, really difficult for City to get into the top six. But the fact that we're talking about this and the fact that we're having these conversations about Bristol City potentially making the top six is really, really important and really, really impressive as well, and shows progress from the last few seasons. So I think it'll be difficult to get for City to make the top six, and I'm leaning towards no rather than yes, but it certainly is not out of the realms of impossibility. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on whether Bristol City can actually make the top six this season. I think it'll be difficult, but there is definitely signs in there that Bristol City could make a real push for it this season. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Keep safe. Hit the like button if you haven't already subscribed to the Annie Harris Football Channel for more Bristol City content in the future. I will catch you on the other side of the international break, where Bristol City will be facing Burnley at Ashton Gate and returning after the November international break. See you then.